The Janome MemoryCraft 1000 is the ideal sewing and embroidery machine, initially targeted to those who would like to learn to sew, or you're going to teach someone to sew, or you'd like to get into the world of embroidery, but don't want a big machine with all those bells and whistles. But anyone can benefit from this machine. It's lightweight, doesn't take up a lot of room. Maybe you'd like a second machine for the classroom, or you'd like to travel with it. There is so much versatility to the Janome MemoryCraft 1000. When we turn on our machine, you'll see this beautiful LCD screen, and it tells us a lot of information, like the stitch category, in this case utility, the stitch that I have selected, the presser foot recommended for the stitch, and the default settings of the stitch width and stitch length. Now we can totally customize this to adjust the width. In this case, this is the length. Now I'm using the included stylist. I could also use my finger if I wish. So we can totally customize every stitch in the machine pretty much to the way we want it for our specific purposes. We can go into this little curlicue icon is, all of our applique stitches, our cross stitch, heirloom, the quilt stitches, and we select quilt. There is our dedicated 1/4 of an inch P for piecing stitch, and there is our recommended O foot, that 1/4 of an inch foot with the guide. The machine is automatically reduced the stitch length to 1.8. It's a tighter stitch, so we don't have to worry about back stitching all the time. So the machine has already done a lot of the work for us. We go back into that decorative curlicue icon, and we have more stitches, satin stitches, bridge stitches, decorative stitches, botanical, long, lifestyle, and kids stitches. So many things, these beautiful decorative stitches that we can stitch out. A terrific project is just make a cute little pin cushion. Here, some bright, beautiful yellow thread to stitch our flowers in this case. So these are some decorative stitches built into the machine that we can stitch out for our pin cushion. Or here is the utility stitches stitched out to make a fun little pin cushion. So many things you can do with some of the decorative stitches in the machine. I stitch out some of these and use them as a mug rug that I place my mug on top of this, but it's a great way to experiment with some decorative stitches. To help make our sewing even faster and easier, we have these convenient push button controls like the lock stitch that will just sew a couple of stitches in place to help secure the line of stitching. The needle down up is particularly useful, so we expose that take-up lever. This is essential when we're going to use the built-in needle threader. That needle has to be in the highest position. So using the needle down up button to expose the take-up lever is key. The scissor button will trim our threads very conveniently. The back stitch will secure that line of stitching as well. We can also use the stop-start button, so we don't even need to use the power foot control. The speed control slider helps us slow down the machine when we're doing really intricate work, or maybe if we're new to sewing or teaching a child to sew, we can turn the machine down and then turn it up full blast when we want to go pedal to the metal and get our projects done quickly. On the patented needle plate, there are many convenient lines etched into the needle plate as well as on the bobbin cover here. If I'm a garment sewer, for example, I can sew at a 5/8 of an inch mark for my commercial pattern, and I see a line on my bobbin cover, I see a line on my needle plate. There's even a large horizontal line here across the needle plate to say where I should position my fabric. I drop my presser foot and I like to lower the needle and then begin to sew. So fast, so accurate. When I finished my stitching, I can either press the lock stitch to sew in place or the reverse button. When holding the reverse button, the machine will sew backwards, however long you'd like it to, then release the button and it'll sew forward again. We can use our scissor button to trim our threads. And there, beautiful. Look at that perfect back stitching right along the line of stitching. Then we can take our little scissors to trim off those threads. Perfect. Beautiful line of stitching. To switch our machine over to embroidery is super simple. We go here on the LCD screen to the two sewing machine icons and click. The machine will tell us that the carriage arm needs to open, which is also super convenient to do. Simply click this little lever, which causes the carriage to open. We can swing it open, and now we're ready to attach the embroidery hoop. Before we attach the hoop, though, we can do a few more things to get the machine ready for embroidery. For example, this is the zigzag needle plate that is on the machine, but included with the MemoryCraft 1000 is a straight stitch needle plate that we recommend for embroidery. Conveniently, there's a storage compartment in the accessory compartment of the machine that we'll remove when we want to do some free arm sewing or from free arm embroidery. In the bottom of that accessory compartment there is our straight stitch needle plate. We will use this needle plate with that center hole for embroidery. We don't have to worry about the fabric being mashed down into the needle plate. To switch over the needle plates is so fast and simple. We can use the included screwdriver, but we're not going to unscrew the needle plate. We're instead just going to put it in this little notch down here, and boom, that simple, that easy to lift up this needle plate. We also recommend for embroidery using the high tension 20-gram bobbin holder. You'll see the little white triangle on it, and in the bobbin basket it says 20 grams. This has a higher bobbin tension, so it's going to pull those needle threads to the back side. We certainly don't want to see those bobbin threads up on the needle side. I take out the regular bobbin holder, which says 10 grams, and there's that little triangle there in yellow that says 10-gram bobbin holder. This is the regular bobbin holder for most regular stitching. We instead, for embroidery, want to use that 20-gram bobbin holder and just simply lock that into place so it cannot move. We have many blogs on Janome Life all about switching over your machine and cleaning your machine. I simply take my straight stitch needle plate and boom, there it's so fast, so simple, and no screwdriver necessary. Once our machine is set over to embroidery, it's very simple to find our designs built into the machine. The little flower icon has all of the designs built in. Here is just one category of this food and drink. Or we select the little flower icon here and more selections come up, and we can use the cursor buttons to scroll through. Oh, if I want these name tags, for example, we can use them as luggage tags or a gift tag. So the little school bus is built in. I used the fonts built into the machine to put kitty, and then I just punched it with my awl to make a little gift tag. So we can do that all built into the machine. So simple. Go back to our flower icon and scroll through more. Look at all of these designs to help get you started in embroidery. We can then click out of here. We click the A button for fonts, and we can click up here to see all of the fonts built into the machine, and even some special characters like this border and normal sew. I used those to decorate this quilt label. Embroidery is a fabulous way to get into helping you get your quilts done. I used the fonts built into the machine, and we can totally create them, arc them, edit them as we wish. And here are some of those border and normal sew decorative stitches that would normally be stitched out on the sewing machine, but instead we're doing them by embroidery. And even as we scroll through, we have 2-letter and 3-letter monograms. When you really want to customize something like this little bag that I made, here are my initials and there is the frame for the monogram. So there is so much customizing we can do in the world of embroidery through the MemoryCraft 1000. I can X out of here, and then the last icon is the editing function. I click on this, and there is the same grid that is the clear acrylic grid that goes to our included 5.5 by 5.5 embroidery hoop. When I want to combine designs with fonts, for example, I can just go into the home screen, go into my little flower icon with all of my designs. We can choose whichever one we wish. Oh, I'll choose this cute little flower. And then, oh, there, it's kind of small, but oh, no problem. I can use the editing icons here in my machine to blow up that flower, in this case, 120%. We can make it smaller or bigger and click OK. I can move it however I wish. I can go through and copy it, and now all of a sudden I have two. So fun. I can even mirror image them. So there's so many things that we can do editing in the machine. When I want to combine it with some fonts, again, go back into the home screen, touch the A for the fonts, and this is where I can select whichever one I wish, and we can type out Janome and click OK. Now I can move this with the stylist here on the screen. I could also move it with my finger, or again, I can use these cursor buttons to move it as well. Now this font looks a little smaller, so I can go into this ABC editing icon and I can help push it apart, make it a little bigger. I can arc it however much I want. And whenever I have this all finished, exactly as I like it, then I click OK. The machine will tell me there the carriage is moving to the home position. It's telling me to adjust my thread tension dial to 3, which is the default. And then here on the LCD screen, it will take 11 colors, 8 minutes to stitch this design out. Everything is done for you. There is no guesswork. There are so many fabulous accessories included with your Janome MemoryCraft 1000. So many additional presser feet, like the C foot that you'll use for overcasting, the E foot, the zipper foot, the F foot for those decorative stitches. It has a groove on the underside, so all those decorative stitches can form and pass through easily. The G foot is the blind hem foot, so you can hem all your trousers, curtains very fast, very easily. The M foot is for the overcasting, so it mimics like a serger to finish off the raw edge of your fabric. The O foot is that 1/4 inch foot with the metal guide, and the P, the clear foot, is the embroidery foot. Everything you need to get started, your high tension 20-gram bobbin holder, even extra bobbins. These are the Janome J bobbins that have the little J to indicate that there is a rubberized compound in the bobbins to help keep the machines quieter, if they don't jump around as much, and they don't break if you step on them. Everything you need to help get you started. There are lots of resources on our janome.ca website, Janome Canada's YouTube channel, and our Janome Life blog. Happy sewing!